Feeding cattle seaweed reduces CO2 emissions or methane emissions, all emissions, CO, CO2, methane, greenhouse gases. What can all of these things have in common? That's right, we're talking about farts. This new study is shown, finding some researchers at UC Davis that seaweed in cattle diet is effective at reducing greenhouse gases, and the efficacy does not diminish over time. That's right, they started feeding cattle healthy, nutritious seaweed. Turns out they like it. Gives them less gas, less burps, less farts, and they're just as healthy. Cattle that consumed doses of about 80 grams of seaweed gained as much weight in their herd as the others. So that means they're healthy. They gained as much weight. They burped out 82% less methane into the atmosphere. Of course, it goes on to say, as it is obligated to in this article from UC Davis, greenhouse gases are a major cause of climate change, and methane is a potent greenhouse gas. Agriculture is responsible for 10% of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S., and half of those emissions come from cows and other ruminant animals that belch methane / fart and other gases throughout the day as they forage. So we're talking about cutting out a major greenhouse gas, and also switching to a fairly sustainable food for cows, although I suppose it would be harder to get it to Kansas than the coast. But seaweed can be farmed pretty much anywhere, and frees up some of those other corn and other things they're feeding to cows now to give to us so we can fart. They fart less, leaves more room for regular Joes like you and me to fart. Here's the AP. There was actually a little debate about whether cows do fart, or is it are they all belches? How does this gas get from inside the cow to outside the cow? The fact, according to the AP News, cows fart. This contributes to global warming, but cow burps are worse. Okay, they burp more than they fart. That's what that means. Methane emitted by ruminant livestock accounts for about 5.5% of the greenhouse gases that come from human activity. 5% of all human activity. And I fart a lot. More than 70% of livestock emissions are from cattle. 70% of 5%. This could really help we get them. This led me to thinking, what else farts? Here's an article from Pop Sci. Is it true that birds can't fart? It's not that they can't, it's that they don't need to. That might be the same thing. I feel like they don't need to, and they never need to. They kind of can't. I don't know. Birds don't carry the gas-forming bacteria in their guts as human and other mammals to digest food and that lose. Parrots sometimes emit fart sounds, but that's their mouth. Yes. Good research, scientist. That sound coming from the parrot, was it pretending to fart? This led me to this article from the Washington Post. Scientists are building an animal fart database. That's right. This is where this has all been going. What animals can fart? Let's take a look. Bats do. Rats, zebras, bearded dragons. On the other hand, birds do not seem to have a need for passing gas. Marine invertebrates such as oysters, mussels, and crabs don't fart. African dogs really do. Definitely do. Gassy seals. Snakes, yes. And so, here it is. This does exist. You can go look at it. Find Dr. Danny Rabayouti or search for hashtag does it fart. And here it is. The full database of 86 different animals, all of which were present on Noah's Ark. And which ones fart. And to celebrate this piece of information, I'm going to write a little song about what animals fart. African wild dogs do fart. Baboons, bats, bearded dragons, and black spiny-tailed iguanas and bobcats also do fart. Zebras, and pythons, and camels, and cheetahs, and chimpanzees, and cockroaches, and columbine monkeys do fart. Where did I leave off? Copperheads, and domestic cats, and goats, and hedgehogs, and pigs, and sheep, and dogs, and elephants fart. Goldfish and frogs and crested geckos and giraffes, hell yes, and gorillas and gray foxes and green iguanas and grizzly bears and guinea pigs and herrings and horses and humans, oh yeah, and isopods and lagomorphs and lemurs and lions do fart. And manatees and millipedes and mustelids and orangutans and panther chameleons and maybe parakeets, not parrots, and pupfish and rabbits and rats and rhesus macaques do fart. The rhinoceros iguana does, and maybe the rotifers, whatever that is, and possibly salamanders, and not anemones, but seals do fart. And skunks and sloths and snakes and not ball pythons, I guess, but more corn and rat snakes and milk snakes and hogneck western something snakes. It's not clear the full name of that one on here, but snow leopards do also fart. And spotted hyenas and squids and octopuses and cuttlefish, if we count air coming out of the siphon as farting, and Syrian hamsters, Jesus Christ, tapirs and termites. Those little termites fucking might be a lot more significant contributor to global climate change than you thought. According to the notes, they'll all fart. And tortoises, and why did they put unicorns on this list? That's crazy. And wombats and woodlice, and that's all that's on here, but they all fart. But there's a few on here that don't fart, including clams and maybe spiders, nobody's sure, and sea anemones were already mentioned, and not parrots, and not parakeets, and not moon snails, because they're all the way up there on the moon. None of them fart. And common whelks and Bristol worms and blue mussels don't fart, and neither do birds, and that's redundant because it lists a bunch of different birds on here. And ammomites, which I don't know what they are. They're mollusks, I guess, and they don't fart. But you know what? Who does? Me and you. We all fart. Me and me. Fart for enough for the both of us. We both fart. And this has been a deep dive. An SAFS deep dive on farts.